comments and let me know that you're here and everything's working well. I wanted to go live for just a few minutes today and answer a question I got in my inbox just a couple of days ago. One of my customers asked me when was the right time to launch their funnel. And I want to just kind of dedicate this live stream to answer that question. When should you start thinking about funnels? When is it time to advance beyond simply blogging and whatnot? I think my pen just died. That's not a very good thing. This is why we do things live here. So I want to go ahead and talk to you about launching your sales funnel. When is it the right time? When is it too early, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just going to take a couple of minutes here to kind of walk through this. I also have a story I want to share with you about this. All right. So first and foremost, there are largely kind of two prevailing philosophies or ideas behind launching your sales funnel. Theory one is don't worry about the funnel, don't worry about the product, don't worry about monetization. Focus on building your audience first. That number one there is just building that audience. And what does that look like? In most cases, people are going to recommend you get your WordPress blog set up. They're going to say start your YouTube channel. They're going to say start a podcast, something where you can start to create content and flex that muscle of serving your audience, building trust with them, and simply creating that following, getting some of those raving fans, having nothing yet to offer for them, but just go out there and do the work. And then at a certain point, you'll be able to transition and figure out what does that audience want, how can I serve them, and then you can create your first funnel, your first product, and drive them into that funnel, okay? Awesome strategy. Awesome. And also, there's no right or wrong way. I'm just going to give you some real world experience on this topic here, okay? So that is option number one. Works really, really well. But there are some downsides to theory number one. First and foremost, if you're doing this as a hobby, as like a total passion project, then simply building that audience might be motivating in and of itself in the beginning. You might be happy to simply say, hey, still didn't make any money, but I'm getting 1 or 2 more visitors on my website today, so that's a good thing. That might check your box. But for most of us, we're doing this because we're passionate about it, but we also want to build that business at the same time, right? And so being able to not only build your audience, but show and prove the concept of being able to make a product, sell a product, practicing the sales, the marketing, every aspect of the business, that can be really beneficial and motivating, even if you're only making a couple sales every week, every month, whatever your individual pace is. Okay, so that's kind of setup number one. Setup number two is funnel first. And let me share with you kind of a personal story about this. So I have a 6-year-old daughter. I've actually got 3 kids, but my 6-year-old, she is in love with toys. Right now it's Pokemon, which is all right. Back in the day, I've played Pokemon too. So it's like generational fun here. So she's gotten really into Pokemon, and every day it seems like she wanted another toy, another plush, another video game, something, right? And as a loving parent and as a geek myself, I'm like, oh, I want to encourage that in her. But I realize I'm not helping the situation. I'm not actually building her up to be a good little adult, a good person. Again, she's only 6. She has no concept of money yet, but she did at the end of the story. And so I decided instead of just buying her toys or saying no, I'll say, yes, you can absolutely get that toy, and we are going to work together to earn the money you need to buy that toy. So I'm not buying it for you, but I'm going to help enable you, empower you, and teach you how to earn your own money online and be able to create your own sales funnel and buy your product, okay? And so it was really fun. To do that, we basically set up our own online store. So we use WooCommerce, but there's many ways you could do this. Obviously, I teach many on my channel here. So we had a WooCommerce store, and together, my daughter, my wife, myself, we would work together and we would build these little felt roses. We'd go through, we'd buy the raw materials. My daughter would have to pay us back for the raw materials. We'd give her a loan. We'd buy the raw materials. We'd actually physically build the product, the felt rose. Then I would design a WooCommerce site for her. We'd be able to make sales to our neighborhood. We would simply post on Facebook, hey, my daughter's doing this, give the backstory, and drive traffic to our store, right? This is what a sales funnel is. It can be a 6-year-old selling flowers. It can be a 36-year-old trying to sell $1 million coaching program. The general concept of running a business, especially an online business like this, you can get those concepts from day one, which is super empowering, kind of fun. And so, of course, we would come through, we'd make a little bit of money, nothing to write home about. I think my pen is dying here. Make a little bit of money, and that would turn into her toys, and everything's great. So this is kind of the funnel first, where we wanted to create the sales process, and then the continuous effort would be on tweaking things, driving traffic, teaching her how to drive traffic. Obviously, at 6 years old, we don't have a podcast. We're not doing blogging or anything. We were just outsourcing to our friends and family to buy our little toys, but the lesson was there. And I think that valuable lesson of creating your store, your front, and seeing the entire big picture business model of the sales funnel, I think there's value in that from day one. And I think that's an incredibly valuable lesson you can teach yourself, your child, whoever is getting into this idea. I'm personally a fan of the funnel first methodology. And here's really the reason why. What I found when I first got started, 7, 8, 9 years ago at this point, we went after that audience first method where we just started a blog. My wife and I, we started blogging. We started kind of building up our audiences and all that good stuff. But we didn't really understand the business model. We thought that blogging was the business model. And it wasn't until we actually started launching our own product, driving traffic to an offer and making sales, that we realized, blogging is actually the traffic source that gets people into our ecosystem. And once they dive into our sales funnel, that's when the game changes. And all of a sudden things get more dynamic and kind of more exciting and more data driven. And so the audience first method can get you a little bit comfortable, but still missing the big picture and making that leap from just building the audience into actually launching your product and working on your sales funnel. That can be a big and kind of a challenging leap for a lot of people to take. And so I like to go ahead and think about the funnel from day one. But it doesn't have to be like a crazy exercise or like an overwhelming thing to do. Let me kind of simplify that for you, because here's the thing. People hear the term sales funnel and they overcomplicate it or they overblow it. They think it's more than it really is. But a sales funnel is nothing more than your business model. What is your business? People say, I'm going to start a podcast. That's fantastic. Podcasting is an absolutely wonderful thing to do. I love podcasting, but it's not a business. It is a way to get your message in front of people. To do what with that? So if you think about what the sales funnel really is, like, you want to find people who don't know about you, get them to know you and like you and trust you, and then eventually be able to become your client, become your customer, ultimately, support you and give you money and get value in return. So if we think about the different levels of the business model, all we're doing here is setting up a sales funnel. And I think people can make that term seem fancier than it actually is. We're just talking about what a business is. It doesn't matter if you're selling flowers. So in here, if we were to think about the flower example, at the bottom where we're getting money is we're selling flowers. We sell flower. This is a flower. I promise it's a flower. And then before that, they need to get to our store. And before that, they need to know about us and get the message. And before that, we need to find them and identify them and send them into the funnel, right? So it's very basic what it is. But it's no different if what you're doing is selling a $1,000 course, right? You need to get people to know about you, know who you are. You need to get people to trust you or like you. And then once they know you and like you, you want to get enough trust in them so that they are willing to part with their money and be, trusting that you're going to give them something in return that's worth the money they're paying you. Ooh. Draw it like that. Really awful funnel there, right? That's all it is. So to me, I think the audience first methodology, it's approachable. It's something that people can kind of get behind, like, okay, yeah, I can commit to writing a blog post and I can write 1,000 words every other day for the next 100 days or 200 days, and I can focus on that. And that's important. But I just don't want you to get lost in the weeds where you feel like you're going through this exercise, but you're not really even connecting the dots of why you're doing that exercise. The whole point of blogging is kind of up here, right? Like, you're getting that but there's no real commitment that your audience is making to purchase from you, right? So that's kind of a brief overview of launching. When should you not? All right, cool. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. And let me know if that was helpful. I see a few people watching live here. Let me know if that makes sense. The audience first versus the funnel first methodology. I am overall a fan of the funnel first methodology. The only time I would say just focus on the audience is if you are so strapped for time that you just can't commit more than an hour a day on building your side business. If you can't treat it like it's a real business, it's fine to take it like a side hustle and simply focus on building that blog, building that podcast, whatever you can do in your time. that's fine. And also, if you're getting demoralized because you feel like you're stretched too thin, simplify it and focus on just a couple of things. I just want to remind you that you need to get to where you have that sales process, you actually see what the big picture of the business is before you can really start to get that motivating success. All right. So question here from Peter: the Ultimate Funnel Toolkit is the mouth of my funnel with a $37 upsell. Yeah, so Peter is referring to something I probably should pitch for just a second here. I'm not going to make it too crazy, but as you know, I like launching sales funnels. I created a product to help you. It's a set of tools. It's not like some hundreds of hours of videos or anything like that. It's very actionable. It's the Ultimate Funnel Toolkit. I will put a link down below, or you can just go to incomemesh.com/UFT. I'll put that in the chat. And you can go and check that out there as well. So it gives you a 124-step roadmap, checklist, if you want to predict how to price your product, where your profitability is, all the different pieces of launching a successful funnel. I have a forecasting tool. I'm an ex-industrial and systems engineer from corporate America. Forecasting and analysis and supply chain is my jam. So I've put in several calculators, several tools to help you get successful with that, as well as some training, some customer research tools. You can see some testimonials. So check it out. This is in the chat below. And if you take me up on it, I will let you know there's a little bit of a secret. There is an upsell. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what the funnel is. I have had so many people ask to work one-on-one with me, and because I have a real business outside of just what I'm doing here, outside of just Income Mesh, I also I have to say no to a lot of one-on-one client work. But I am opening up a limited group coaching where we're going to do 6 weeks. It's not just coaching, like we're going to be down in the weeds, building out funnels together. By the end of it, you're going to have a funnel. It's a really good, generous guarantee on it, and I don't know how many times I'm going to do it. So if you pick up the toolkit for $27, I think everybody's got $27 lying around, you have the option to join the group coaching as well. And Peter's asking, is the toolkit the mouth of my funnel? Good question. Let's see here. I think it would be kind of midway through. So ultimately, like the no factor, I'm just going to, let's analyze what I'm doing here. So for me, you've got no, you've got like, you've got trust, right? So for me, you need to find out about me before you even have the chance to buy the toolkit, right? So this would either be an ad, or this would be a YouTube video. I do hundreds of YouTube videos, or a live video like this one here. Something like that is where you're going to get known. And this would be where blogging could come in too. I love to blog. I just haven't had the time to really dedicate to it recently. The funnel toolkit is truly kind of a lead generation on my side. You know, just the full open kimono here. It is kind of like one of those free trainings or a free gift that you would always get for free. But there's a shift happening in the industry. I'll dedicate a whole live to it later on, where people are finding that the type of people they get from freebies isn't quite as beneficial as we all used to think. We'll end up getting our email list up to massive numbers, but a good portion of them are never going to be willing to open up their wallet and take a chance on giving money. So the $27 price point is one that seems to be working quite well. So this is a bit more of a like factor, where if you buy it, you're out $27. You might get your refund. You might ask for a refund. If you ask for one, you'll get one. I'm a nice guy. But ultimately, it's a risk-free investment to see if you actually like and trust the person. So that little product is then going to dive into a bit more trust with me. So that's just kind of me internalizing what I'm doing there. But yeah, great question, Peter. All right, guys, so I just want to pop in real quick, share that story with you guys. I'm super proud of my daughter for launching her own sales funnel. And yes, even though it is on WooCommerce, we are using CartFlows with it. So there actually is a bump and an upsell to her own little flower business. The downside is it simply is too hard to keep flowers in stock because somebody has to make them. And sometimes she's too busy playing with the toys she just bought to actually go and like produce more product. So that doesn't always work that way. So anyways, that's it for me today. Hope this is a quick and easy one. I'm also testing out, making sure my streaming system is working as it should. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to go check out the Ultimate Funnel Toolkit, incomemesh.com/UFT, or you can just go to my blog, check it out for a little bit, and it's there in the resources section. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.